This is Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl. Now from the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Welcome to another edition of Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl. We are happy you are here, and we're happy to see these two teams here. Last week, we had a very close match. In fact, it was very close until near the end. Lightning round, Marengo pulled away, and they are moving on to the next round. One of these two teams will also move on after today's game. First, let's welcome the Pecatonica Indians. Pecatonica beat Eastland in round one. Fifth time in 6 seasons, the Indians have made it to the round of 16. You'd like to make it to the Elite Eight, probably, right? That would be the first time since season 3 that happened. Ryan is the captain of the Pecatonica Indians. Introduce us to your lineup, Ryan.
I'm Ryan, captain of the academic bowl team. To my near left is Sam. To my near right is Ashley. And to my far right is Jackson.
Nice. And Sam, your buzzer works perfectly. Keep that ready for when we ask some questions. I get it. You're excited. We're all excited to play. You know who else is excited to be here? The Byron Tigers. Let's hear it for them. Joel does his happy dance as we introduce the team. Tigers got here beating Morrison 250 to 140. That kind of sends a message, doesn't it? The Tigers were in the Elite Eight last season, hoping to return. If they do that, this is an impressive statistic. It will be 6 appearances in 7 years, moving on to the Elite Eight. That's kind of tough, Luke, but you guys are up to the challenge, right?
Yep.
Show us who you brought with you.
To my right is Denise, to my left is Joel, and to my far left is Hayden.
All right, welcome Byron Tigers. Peck and Byron actually have faced off one other time. Do any of you remember how that went? It was certainly before any of you were on the team. This was back in season 3. Tigers beat Pecatonica to advance to the Final Four. We'll see what happens today. Maybe that will stick and inspire some correct answers to questions. Who knows? Speaking of, let's get to some of those questions, shall we? We'll start with our buzzing round. So hands on your buzzers, contestants. The 2 most important rules. Wait for me to call your name. Say your answer loudly and clearly. Here comes our first question this week. What baseball team, which began 2021 with MLB's longest title drought, dropped its mascot in Luke?
The Cleveland Guardians.
Yes, we'll take that. Because they were originally called the Cleveland Indians. Had to make sure that that was acceptable because in 2022 they will be renamed the Guardians. You're the first on the board, Byron. Here's a new question. In September 2021, the Mexican government raffled off a safe house once owned by a criminal known by what nickname, whose real name is Joaquin Guzman? Go ahead, Joel.
Pablo Escobar?
Incorrect. Brian.
El Chapo?
Yes, you got it. That's his nickname, El Chapo, and we've got a tie game. In what European capital city was a leftist government called the Commune crushed during Bloody Week in 1871? Luke.
Vienna.
Incorrect. Peck, you have a chance for these points. It's a tough European history question. It would have helped maybe with these clues. The Louvre, or Notre Dame, or the Eiffel Tower. Paris is the city we needed. What play in which a mistress known as the Woman receives a gift of new stockings from traveling businessman Willie Loman is by Arthur Miller? Brian.
Death of a Salesman?
Yes, right before the buzzer. You got it. Has more than a dozen Tony Awards, been revived on Broadway many times. Those are Peck's 10. What bird on which the Hindu god Kartikeya rides inspired the 6-feathered logo of NBC and is known for its showy, eye-spotted Sam?
Peacock.
That's right, the eye-spotted plumage, also the name of a streaming service. 10 more, Peck. What southern state, which has the youngest U.S. senator, elected a pair of Democratic senators in Luke?
Georgia.
Yep, in 2021 runoff elections, including John Ossoff, who is that youngest senator we referenced. 10 more for Byron. What solid compound used to preserve food and in fog machines sublimes at standard temperature and pressure? Brian.
Carbon dioxide?
Yes, we will take that. Also known as dry ice, CO2. Pecatonica's 10. What president who made Andrew Mellon Treasury Secretary promised a return to normalcy and died soon after the Teapot Dome scandal broke in 1923? Luke.
Wilson.
Incorrect. Pecatonica. These could be yours. Go ahead, Sam.
Warren Harding.
That is right. Still some conspiracy theories surrounding his death. Knowing Warren Harding is worth 10 points for you. That's 2 in a row for Peck. What biblical character interprets a dream predicting a 7-year famine? And Sam.
Joseph.
Yes, goes to Egypt as a slave after his brothers steal his multicolored coat. 10 more points. What office, which is third in the presidential line of succession, presides over the Senate in the vice president's, Denise?
Speaker of the House.
Incorrect. Presides over the Senate in the vice president's absence. Ryan.
The Senate pro tempore.
Yes, we'll take that. Say that again.
Senate pro temp.
Incorrect, I can't take it. President pro tempore or President pro tem. We needed, that was the title. No points on that one. What English mansion owned by the family of Sebastian Flyte is revisited in a 1945 novel by Evelyn Waugh? Luke.
Windsor Castle.
Incorrect. Peck, these could be your points. The novel is called Brideshead Revisited, so that mansion's name is Brideshead. No points for either team. That's how we end the round. We're out of time. Pecatonica is off to a strong start with 60 points, but Byron has 20, and this is still a lot of game to play, right? 3 rounds. The next one is called volleyball, and it's up after this short break. We'll see you in just a couple minutes. We are off to a very solid start here in the Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. Pecatonica has 60 points. Byron has 20. We're about to get into our volleyball round, but first, a very special thank you. Einar Forsman is the CEO of the Greater Rockford Growth Partnership, and thank you really doesn't seem like enough for being our judge today, Einar. You have been a supporter of Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl from the beginning. During the tape or before the taping, we actually talked about how you never say no when we asked you to be a judge, which is an important qualification to be our judge. We don't take that for granted, so thank you so much for being here. All right, our volleyball round is a back and forth. Contestants, because of the coin flip, our first question is going to Pecatonica. You can work as a team to come up with the answer, but the answer has to come from the captain. Ryan, are you ready for your first question?
Yes.
Here we go. What member of the Black Panther Party was murdered along with Mark Clark in a 1969 police raid in Chicago? You start the round with a pretty tough question there. That's Fred Hampton. Over to Byron now for your first question of the round. Gian Lorenzo Bernini sculpture is titled For the Ecstasy of what saint from Avila? The sculpture is called The Ecstasy of Saint Teresa. Back over to Peck. What emperor who began the Roman conquest of Britain may have been poisoned by his wife Agrippina the Younger and was succeeded by Nero?
Caligula.
Incorrect. Claudius. Agrippina was also his niece. No points for that. Back over to Byron. What process, which can be initiated by P53 in response to DNA damage, is contrasted with necrosis and is a programmed form of cell death?
Aging.
Incorrect. Apoptosis. No points. New question. What city, known for its diamond industry, forms the second most populous metropolitan area in Belgium after Brussels? Antwerp. Brussels has about double the metro population of Antwerp. Back to Byron. Kwame Nkrumah was the first president of what West African country that gained independence from the UK in 1957? Those 5 seconds sometimes don't seem like enough, and these have been some tough questions. Ghana. Back over to Peck. What scientist who wrote the book Systema Naturae divided the three kingdoms into classes and was a Swedish botanist who pioneered modern taxonomy? Carolus Linnaeus. Back to Byron. What poetic form that has 19 lines and 2 alternating refrains is exemplified by the Dylan Thomas poem, "Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night"? Those are villanelles. Back to Pecatonica. What man who wrote "Pile the Bodies High in Austerlitz and Waterloo" in his poem Grass called the title city the hog butcher for the world in Chicago?
Upton Sinclair.
Incorrect. Carl Sandburg wrote that poem. Back to Byron. All chordates possess what fluid-filled body cavity between the body wall and digestive tract, which is often lined with mesothelium?
Esophagus?
Incorrect. That is a tough A&P question there. Coelom. Back to Pecatonica. What state was the site of the 1985 MOVE bombing, the 3 Mile Island accident, a 1793 yellow fever epidemic, and the Battle of Gettysburg?
New York.
Incorrect. Also home of the First Continental Congress, we needed the state of Pennsylvania. And that's how we end the round. That might be the most difficult volleyball round we have ever had. These were tough questions. So our scores still sit at Pecatonica 60, Byron 20. Scores will change pretty quickly in this next round, though, the NECA IBEW lightning round. But first, you get to play at home with the Bergstrom bonus question.
Traveling aboard the Friendship 7 spacecraft, what astronaut became the first American launched into orbit on February 20th, 1962?
After a tough volleyball round, we need a break. How about some pizza from Lino's? That sounds great, Joel. I like the fist move, but in order to get that pizza and pasta from Lino's, you have to know the answer to this question. So hands on your buzzers, contestants. Let me know if you know this. If you're watching at home, you already have seen this question. Here we go. Traveling aboard the Friendship 7 spacecraft, what astronaut became the first American launched into orbit on February 20th? Joel.
John Glenn?
That is correct. 1962. Now you get to do your victory dance. Yes. 60 years ago this weekend, Glenn completed 3 orbits in a flight lasting just under 5 hours. Nice work. All right, you get the Lino's pizza and pasta. Now you take another breather, and we'll come back for some questions worth points. That's our NECA IBEW lightning round. You know, we were only gone for about 2 minutes or so in this break, but Joel's been dancing the whole time for his victory in the Bergstrom bonus question for that Lino's pizza party. Congratulations. All right, enough dancing. Now we need to get down to business. It's the NECA IBEW lightning round. And this is a serious round, you guys, because if you run the category, it's worth 100 points. Peck has 60 right now. Byron has 20. Again, those scores will change really quickly. And because of the coin flip, Luke, you get first pick this week. These are your 3 categories: typography, Shakespeare quotes, or 1 billion streams on Spotify.
We'll do the last one.
Oh my lord.
1 billion streams on Spotify. That was a very enthusiastic choice. Maybe it'll work out better than you expect. Who knows? Although none of those were perfect. Name the performers of these songs that have been streamed at least 1 billion times on the service Spotify. This could go really quickly if you know your music. So you'll have 60 seconds for the category, and then Ryan, you and the team will have 30 seconds to get to whatever they don't get correct, don't get to in the time, or pass. So remember, both teams, solid advice, you can pass. Luke, are you ready for your first one?
Yep.
Name the performers of these songs that have been streamed at least 1 billion times on Spotify. Watermelon Sugar.
Harry Styles.
Correct. All of Me.
Pass.
Bad Guy.
Billie Eilish.
Correct. Shape of You.
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran.
Correct. Cheap Thrills.
Pass.
Can't Feel My Face.
Pass.
We Don't Talk Anymore. 2 answers are acceptable here.
Pass.
Humble.
Pass.
Wonderwall.
Oasis.
Correct. Senorita. 2 answers are acceptable here as well.
Camila Cabello.
Correct. All of Me.
All of me, Sam Smith.
Sam Smith.
Incorrect.
Oh.
Cheap Thrills.
Pass.
Can't Feel My Face.
Pass.
And that's all the time we have to go to. So you're back on top by 10 points. You've got 5 of them right. 5 of them are left, but 30 seconds is all you get for them, Ryan. If you're paying attention, maybe you'll do these quickly. Who knows? And I'll read them as fast as I can. Here comes the first one. Name the performers of these songs that have been streamed at least 1 billion times on Spotify. Here we go. All of Me.
John Legend.
That's correct. Cheap Thrills.
Pass.
Can't Feel My Face.
The Weeknd.
Correct. We Don't Talk Anymore. 2 answers are okay here.
Pass.
Humble.
Kendrick Lamar.
That's correct. Cheap Thrills.
Louis Capaldi.
Incorrect. We Don't Talk Anymore. 2 answers are possible.
Louis Capaldi.
Incorrect. You might as well answer right. You don't have to waste more time if you don't need it. So the only 2 that no one got were Cheap Thrills was Sia, and We Don't Talk Anymore could have been either Charlie Puth or Selena Gomez. Either one of them. But otherwise, solid work on that category. Pecatonica is now on top by 20 points. It's 90-70, and now Ryan, you get to choose between these 2 categories that are left. Typography or Shakespeare quotes.
Typography.
Shakespeare scared everybody away. Okay, here we go. Answer the following about typography and fonts. Writing that slants to the right, often toggled with an I button.
Italics.
Correct. Short line added to the end of a stroke.
Pass.
Typeface whose name is Latin for Swiss.
Pass.
Newspaper that commissioned a new Roman font.
The New York Times.
Incorrect. Widely derided Microsoft font used in so-called Doge memes.
Comic Sans.
Correct. German inventor of movable type printing.
Pass.
Unit half as long as an M.
N.
Correct. Animal that jumps over a lazy dog in a sentence used to display fonts.
The Quick Brown Fox.
Correct. Monospaced font that shares its name with a person who delivers messages.
Courier.
Correct. Adjusting the spaces between individual letters like R and N.
Pass.
Short line, no time to get back to that one. Solid effort, half of the category cleaned up, 50 points added to your score, you're at 140. There's 30 seconds to get to the 5 that are left. Luke, if you're paying attention, this could go quickly. Feel free to pass if you need it. 30 seconds is on the clock. Here comes your first one. Answer the following about typography and fonts. Short line added to the end of a stroke.
Hyphen.
Incorrect. Typeface whose name is Latin for Swiss.
Pass.
Newspaper that commissioned a new Roman font.
Chicago Life.
Pass.
German inventor of movable type printing.
Gutenberg.
That's correct. Adjusting the spaces between individual letters like R and N.
Modifying.
Incorrect. And that's our 30 seconds. Man, whoever thought that you would need to know so much about those pull-down menus in Microsoft Word? Here's what we have left on the board. There's 4 of them that no one got. The short line that's added to the end of the stroke is a serif. The typeface, whose name is Latin for Swiss, is Helvetica. The newspaper that commissioned a new Roman font, I want to explain to you why your answer wasn't right, Ryan, because you gave too much. You said the New York Times. It was the Times of London. So saying the New York Times made that answer incorrect. We could have taken the Times because that name of the font is Times New Roman. And then that last one was kind of tough too. Adjusting the spaces between individual letters like R and N is kerning. So we've got 1 round left to play in our game. Pecatonica has 140, Byron has 80. And that final challenge is coming up in just a couple of minutes. One round left to play. That's why we call it the final challenge round. It's our Mercy Health final challenge. Here's how our scores sit. Pecatonica has 140. Byron has 80. The winner's going on to our Elite 8. This is a buzzing round, just like round 1. The only difference is the point totals. Each question's now worth 20. Here is our first final challenge question. What term refers to the process of completely covering the plane with geometric shapes with no overlap? Joel.
Filling?
Incorrect. Pecatonica, you could take these 20. Go ahead, Jackson.
Topography?
Incorrect. Tessellation, or tiling, kind of a hybrid math, graphics, home improvement question. Let's get a new one. What cells whose production is supported by Sertoli cells are haploid cells that use an acrosome to penetrate the zona pellucida of egg cells? Joel.
Sperm?
That's right. You've got 20. First points of this round. Voyager's golden records contain Glenn Gould's recordings of what J.S. Bach work with 48 preludes and fugues, 2 each in every major and minor key. That is the Well-Tempered Clavier. The golden record is actually on the NASA space probe Voyager. What term for the part of a guitar that holds the strings above the body can also, Denise?
Frets?
Incorrect. I'll finish for Pecatonica. Can also refer to a contrasting section in the middle of a song. Ryan.
Bridge.
That's right. Also a way for us to cross a river or a busy road. 20 points. The U.S. gained all of modern-day California, Nevada, and Utah as part of what 1848 treaty that ended the Mexican-American Luke?
The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo.
That is correct. Ended the Mexican-American War. Those are Byron's 20 points. What novel in which Sister Dorothea's Mail is read by diminutive Danzig native Oscar was written by Gunter Grass and named for a toy instrument? That instrument is a tin drum. The skin develops from what outermost layer of cells in a developing embryo that surrounds the mesoderm and endoderm? Ryan.
The epidermis.
Incorrect. Byron, you could take these 20. Joel.
Just the epiderm?
Incorrect. The ectoderm. Yeah, derm, right? New question. What surname is shared by a prime minister who invoked the War Measures Act in response to a crisis in Quebec and Canada's current, Luke?
Trudeau.
That is correct. Current Prime Minister Pierre and Justin Trudeau, your 20 points. In 2021, Orlando asked its residents to conserve water to preserve supplies of what substance used as a disinfectant and to treat COVID-19 patients? Ben.
Hydrogen peroxide.
Incorrect. Pecatonica. Ryan.
Sanitizer.
Incorrect. Liquid oxygen, because that liquid O2 is used to treat Orlando's water. And that buzzer means we are out of time for the round. One question. We've had a lot of games this whole season that have come down to one question or maybe a question and a half. Pecatonica with 160 points. Congratulations. You are moving on. Maybe a revenge from that Season 3 loss that we mentioned at the beginning of the game. You're on the Elite Eight. Nice job. Byron, we need to say goodbye. We hate this part. It's the worst part of the whole game. We hope you had fun. How many of you are seniors? So just Luke and Joel. All right, Denise and Ben, you be the anchors next year and come back and see us, okay? We hope you're here and play again. And so that means Pecatonica, you move on to face the winner of next week's game, which is Belvedere versus Harlem. We hope you join us for that. See you then.